This is the Group 10 facilitation of the paper Interest-Based Bargaining, Efficient, Amicable, and Wise by Boniface and Rashburn. The thesis of the paper is an evaluation of interest-based bargaining framed within three criteria. Is it efficient? Can the process be amicable? Is it wise? The paper addresses how to successfully compare interest-based bargaining to historical collective bargaining. Without the framework provided by the paper, the evaluation breaks down into a comparison of wins. Now, this can be misleading as to the effectiveness of interest-based bargaining. Interest-based bargaining's desired outcome is mutual gains derived through joint problem solving, not agreements derived through positioning. This is accomplished by building trust among the actors both front and backstage, as well as online and offline acts either at or beyond the table. Is interest-based bargaining efficient? Research indicates that interest-based bargaining is accommodating to both distributive and integrative bargaining sub-processes. To be most efficient, interest-based bargaining should include some form of pre-bargaining training. This will lead to less attacking and negative evading behaviors. Also, interest-based bargaining is efficient because it leads to shorter length contract agreements. Research indicates that those who have used interest-based bargaining successfully in the past will most likely use it again in the future. However, will those who have had a negative experience with interest-based bargaining use it again? Also, how are management personnel convinced to use interest-based bargaining if they feel that collective bargaining has worked well in the past?
Is interest-based bargaining amicable? I'm going to start out with a definition of amicable. Having spirit of friendliness, without serious disagreement or good-natured. This leads me to my first point of if interest-based bargaining is amicable and the level of trust involved. Trust is important in interest-based bargaining because later in negotiations it will deal with economic issues such as wages and benefits. Pre-bargaining relationships are effective in interest-based bargaining because trust levels will rise. Joint problem solving is important for negotiation and it will help parties arrive at agreements. Secondly, attitudinal restructuring should be achieved through pre-bargaining training, which encourages negotiators to step to the opposing side and see their viewpoints. When negotiators hear one another out, it may lead to improved negotiation talks, leading to a better outcome. Lastly, if leadership in interest-based bargaining negotiation and the communication style is limited in a negative way, it could have a destructive impact. For example, Texas Bell. In some cases, interest-based bargaining has been successful over collective bargaining in getting people back to work and off the picket line.
Interest-based bargaining is wise because it focuses on the mutual gains for labor unions and for management. Both are supporting an interdependence across diverse interests. There's also employee interests and flexibility, which are being focused on there. So there's actually a really high level of innovation in these agreements because they aren't following a contract. They're just going off what will benefit both groups and figuring out what's the best option for them both. So these usually result in pretty timely decisions and timely agreements, which is great for productivity because then the organization's getting more agreements done quicker and they can focus on everything else that they need to pay attention to and everything else at hand. The only downside really for interest-based bargaining is that research has shown no statistical link between economic outcomes and interest-based bargaining. So wages and benefits and health and safety issues really aren't affected too much by it. But other than that, it's a great option for organizations to look into and can really benefit them in the long run.